hair long like that.
Back to the NFL. During the Bears' second preseason game against the Bengals, Caleb Williams right there missed an open Colston Loveland on a 1st and 20. Caleb overthrowing his tight end after the game. Coach Ben Johnson had this to say about Caleb's decision while making the play.
What did you see on the shot Caleb took to Colston down? It looked like it was just a little high.
I probably would go somewhere else with the ball on that one.
Okay, so I don't know what Ben Johnson is a fascinating guy to me. Can you take me through that? That one didn't look like it was about decision making.
So the completion percentage camp of Caleb Williams' completion percentage camp, those people, this would be kind of the play that they would reference. Because I am okay with the decision, but what happens on that play that Ben Johnson is referencing is, okay, you get a zone blitz. Defender up top drops, guy at the bottom is pressuring. I like throwing into the blitz as a quarterback. Now, Loveland has a seam route. The read is really the defender that's right around the 18-yard line. If he gets shallow, we want to throw the seam. If he gets deep, we want to throw that underneath route to that running back on the short end. What you're going to see is that defender's very deep. He throws it to the running back like Ben Johnson's talking about. It's probably at a minimum 10-yard completion. So again, here's that pressure. This is what I want everyone to understand. There's the difference between a good decision and the right decision. I could justify this being a good, aggressive decision because safety middle of the field, let's take our shot, it's first down. But is it the right decision? The right decision would be throw this little underneath route because that defender has so much depth that's on the 10-yard line right now, and you get your completion. And I do think it's the world where Caleb Williams is trying to sit there and go, okay, what's open? Because a lot of us at home could sit there and say, well, Loveland's open.
It looks open.
Open to who? You know, open to what situation? Because then the running back becomes open. It's 1st and 20. We're not trying to get a 20-yard completion. We're trying to get us to 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8. And so I think that's the world that is something for us to pay attention to, is like open to who? Open to the situation. What's the context of the game? Would he make that same throw in the regular season?
I mean, I think it comes down to one thing, is that Caleb's a young quarterback who Ben Johnson is trying to develop. And an older, more experienced quarterback, you give him that latitude to make those type of aggressive decisions. I think what Ben Johnson wants is to see that he is making a choice. Like, he recognizes that player is open, but he's making a choice to take the more aggressive shot to Loveland. I think the concerning part for somebody like Ben Johnson is that it doesn't feel like he's making the choice. Is that he made the choice pre-snap, I'm throwing here. It doesn't feel like he's reading, because if you're reading in your preseason, like, we're not in a real game situation. Right now, this is practice, and they want him to carry out the play in the way that you would in practice, which is, like, this guy showed you a very, very distinct read. You should throw it to where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, like, see, I wrestle with the play candidly, because I sit here and I go, if that throw's complete.
No, I personally like the throw more. Like, I'm with you. I'd rather my quarterback be aggressive down the field. But I understand what he's saying right there is, what I want you to show is that you can operate my offense.
But then what happens is, if we're in week 8, and this is a little bit more of a theme, people are going, justifiably so, going, Caleb Williams is completing 54% of his passes. That's not good enough.
I guess. Look, there are so many people in the world who know so much more about football than and you are one of them, and Ben Johnson is most certainly one of them. What I see on that play is a guy who's wide open for a touchdown, right? If he throws a good ball, he's going to catch that and go in for a touchdown. So, look, there's probably a million different places that I could see criticizing Caleb Williams for making a bad decision. To my unexpert eye, that's not one of them.
But I also think that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, Ben Johnson is telling him through a press conference,
like, I want you to do the other thing.
Better. And we're talking about increments, right? Like, we're not talking about, like, sure, if he throws the ball on the money, it probably is a touchdown. But in general, in the structure of our offense, we want you to go somewhere different with that ball, and that's a fine message.
Of course,
this is the context that I'm talking about. Is it's 1st and 20. It's the preseason, so I'm not making this, but it's 1st and 20, and so Ben Johnson's probably sitting there going, I'm calling this play. That linebacker's deep. That ball's got to go to the running back on 1st and 20. If it's the 4th quarter, we're down 4. There's a minute left. and then you got a chance to take that shot. So I just think it's like an interesting thing for us to pay attention to is how that all plays itself out when the games actually count.
I also think there's a psychological component to coaching. And when you get an opportunity to press a particular button on a young player, you're going to press that button if you think that's the one that needs to be pressed.
Yeah.
I don't think in a regular season he would be that hard on him for that situation. I think right now it's like we're still building up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's still like, I'm in charge.
And I think, Dom, I think it's a really interesting balancing act
It should
because
be
if that
interesting to watch.
was a player like me who is unbelievably average physically, it would be an easier line to walk. Caleb is so physically talented. It's like, do I want to rein him in as much as I would another guy?
And that's since Ben Johnson got there, he has been unafraid to coach him hard because he believes he's capable of great things. And I think Caleb has really connected with that aspect of Ben Johnson's coaching. So whereas you might, for a different quarterback, you might not say that in a press conference.
Right.
Ben's not afraid to do that, and that's part of his plan.
Can I very quickly just put up B15, Ronnie? Because 2 of the top 5 player props that have the most money bet on them at DraftKings involve Caleb Williams, including the number 1 overall. You are, by no doubt, if you're a football fan, aware the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer. Their history goes back to being the Decatur Staleys in the 1920s, and they've never had that. So the number 1 most bet prop is Caleb to go over 4,000. The number 5 most bet prop is him to go over 3,625 yards. Do we think he goes over 4,000? Is he the first ever Bear
Pretty
to do
close
it?
last year.
Yeah,
He was very close.
Yeah.
I would think he does.
He's going to have to with the way that